shoot, I said that you claim it. Instant Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalker, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, what said that you claim?
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And it's Tuesday. It's time to do our thing. We got a game drop inside the Game Pass swing. You know what it is. It's RPG. Just go in there and check it out on me, because I'm the King. Now, if it's your first time finding the channel, I'm the King. And I'm your new best friend. I drop videos daily, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get it on over here. Now, if you got a chance to see me today on Frontline Gaming streams, while I was playing Doom the Dark Ages, pew, 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 pew. That's what it sounds like in my head. But we were having a ball. I was running it up on these bums because that's what I do. Made it up to chapter 13. I'm going to finish that game by the end of the week, because by the end of the week, we got more games to play. Now, there's a little known game called DS2 coming out this week on Thursday. And I got to give a shout out to my PlayStation brothers. Thank you for beta testing this game, because after a couple of months, it's going to come out where? In PC. And you know how we do. Steam, slide that over to your boy. Now, when I have my Xbox ROG Ally X, Death Stranding 2 will come back to who? Me and you. You guys don't got to lift a finger. Let them do all the heavy lifting. Let them pay for the premium package. Let them get the fake PVC, fake statue ass in the face dudes. You ain't got no statues. You got plastic vinyl collectibles. That's why it's called PVC. Ponies violated crazily. PVCs, ponies violated crazily. That's you guys. But that's what you're going to get, because that's what you're worth. Plastic, vinyl collectibles, whackness. But actually, go do that. And then when the game is released on sale, I'm going to get it in a humble bundle. I'm going to get it on the low. That's when I get it. When Kojima bounce over there. So I ain't got to wait. And Xbox allows me to do that, because why? My Xbox ROG Ally X has Steam, baby. And if you saw the new user interface, you saw what we're working with. Steam games are in your library. Yes, sir. It's up. PlayStation dudes, it's over for you dudes. Checkmate. We've bailed the mouse. It's over. I told you it was going to be the swiftest, fastest, most terrible demise. But let's get into these topics, because these topics are topics that you guys actually want to talk about. You want to talk about the death of Xbox again. Am I right? There's a glaring hole in the Nintendo Switch 2 lineup, and that has to do with games. There aren't any. Now, there's a bunch of games. There's some old games that are Switch versions, like Street Fighter and stuff like that. And if you didn't have access to those games on the larger consoles, you have it on the Switch too. Now, I don't care to play something like Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2. I don't care for the Vaseline version. I don't care how much Digital Foundry tells you, oh, the wattage on it is really nice. I don't care about that part. I brought my Switch 2 for first-party titles that I cannot get on any other platform. One of the games was Drag Times Drive. Now, is this Drag X Drive or Drag Time Drive? And we didn't know the price point for it. So GameStop seems to have outed it. The game is coming out in August. The game is set to be $8, $7.99. And the eShop had it listed at $20. So I don't know if it's $20. I don't know. It's $7.99. I think a good price for it would be that part. But August 14th, you get a chance to get a game that is exclusively for the Switch 2. And that's the one where you're in a wheelchair, sort of, with the inverted wheels, or I don't know, inclined wheels that looks like they're collapsing on the user, that are robots that are, I don't know, handy-capable robots. I don't know what the premises of the game, but again, a price point like that is cool. A price point, $8 to $10, that kind of works. But if it's a $20 game for a tech demo, just showing me how to use your mouse capabilities inside the console, I don't know too much. But the game really didn't really appeal to me at all. But at $8 price point, then you give me the opportunity to find out what the mouse functionality to this device is. You know, I think this was a clear miss on Nintendo's part. I think this game was supposed to ship with an initial batch of PlayStation. Wow. I'm used to them gaffing and making mistakes. I think this is a clear gaff on Nintendo's part. I think this game was supposed to ship with Nintendo first lineup, the initial lineup. The second wave you have is Donkey Kong. But I don't know, the way they're staggering the releases of their games, it's like they are hoping not to over choke the lineup, which you really can't. But I guess backward compatibility played a large role in the way their lineup is looking. Maybe. If you're a fan of F-Zero, if you're a fan of Wipeout, well, then Fast Fusion has you covered. Now, I didn't know that this game was out on the Switch 2, but I actually got a chance to find out about it right now. Now, what I like about this game more than anything else is the fact that you only need one cartridge and you get a chance to play with multiple friends. Now, I don't know if one cartridge extends to more than one friend, but I know it is up to 4 players. So it's 2 to 4 players that you're actually able to have split screen on in playing this game. That's crazy. Couch co-op with your friends playing an F-Zero inspired type of game, a Wipeout inspired type of game. But this has a different twist to it. What you're able to do is you're able to take 2 cars and fuse them together. There you go. Fast Fusion. I think that was a novel idea. To really be real with you, when we come to this futuristic racing space, other than Crash and Burn, where they actually put guns on a car, you was able to, destroy cars, and that was from the old 3DO. And I always thought that these games were supposed to launch with the new console. Always have a racing game. Always have a futuristic racing game. Always have a platforming, a 3D platforming. Always have a puzzle game, and then always have an RPG. Well, they seem to have the racing covered, futuristic racing covered. They did Donkey Kong, that is coming out as that platformer, and you got Mario Kart as the racer. This is a great idea. I cannot wait to check it out. Well, they have dropped some new 3 tracks this week. So check out the new tracks. Is the Carbrim Cup, is the Alpine Trust, is the Sun Savannah Plains, and the Zendhoth Habitat. Check out these visuals. It's going to be something insane. Jump in. I am. Please. You got to play a Switch, right? If you brought a Switch too, I know you're not just sitting there playing Mario Kart. This is getting out of hand. A man busted after allegedly stealing $10,000 worth of Nintendo Switch games from public libraries. I'm appalled. The fact that you're stealing from public libraries in which people go to learn, bro, you are lowbrow and have low class. I did not even know libraries gave you the opportunity to come in and borrow games. You hear that? You ponies, you can borrow games. What is that? Renting? Yes, you goofies. Well, this guy took it upon himself, and I'm not going to tell you his name, but I can tell you that it's in Oakland, man. He's from Oakland, and he stole from Marion County Libraries located in North Carolina. And he stole from 7 different ones. and he's currently facing 12 different felony charges. Multiple counts of burglary and committing a felony while on bail. So already he was a two-time, a felon. Listen, the libraries have over 200 titles for people to borrow from Switch, and I think that is something commendable. They're extending something to the community. For you to go and be as despicable as you are to steal from children, because these are from children that you're stealing from, because children are going to borrow games and get an experience. You know, a lot of hardworking parents out there probably can't afford to get a game, and the library gives them a vestige in which they're able to make that a possibility. For you to come and steal from the children, man, imagine going to jail off of stealing from the kids. Well, apparently it's not stealing from a baby, right? You got caught stealing Nintendo cartridges. That is wild crazy, bro. But this Nintendo Switch stealing stuff is getting out of hand, from stealing over 280,000 consoles to stealing another 1.4 million worth of consoles to now $10,000 in games. Switch mania is taking over like something I've never seen before. In further news, PlayStation 5 owners beware. Death Stranding 2 quality mode is largely redundant on the PlayStation 5 Pro. The differences are so minor, you're better off with the performance mode at 60 frames per second. I'm sick and tired of the disrespect when it comes to owners like myself of the PlayStation 5 Pro, that is not prioritized when it comes from the company that actually sold me the device. I think that device needs to be prioritized. I think that device needs to be top of their mind. Not a PlayStation 6, but that PlayStation 5 Pro that you duped me into getting. The reviews for Death Stranding 2 are in, and they're glowing as you expect. No, I don't expect it to be glowing, because I thought the first game was kind of boring. But again, these people will blow smoke up your behind and told you that it's a nice summer breeze. But as reported by Digital Foundry, on the PlayStation 5 Pro, the differences between quality and performance mode are so minor that the performance mode becomes the obvious choice. Quality mode is just largely redundant on the Pro. It looks excellent, but the performance mode is nearly identical and plays a lot better. This has been the problem with the PlayStation 5 Pro. It has been largely just a quality machine. A game to get your games, a console to get your games to run at a stable 60 frames per second, opposed to adding actual extra graphical fidelity and different things to the machine. I think they're using it wrong. I think they should use the graphical capabilities of the machine to set it apart from the potential regular versions of the game. I think there should definitely be a real quality mode that actually takes advantage of a Pro, or you should have a Pro mode. You should have a quality mode, a performance mode, a quality mode, and a Pro mode. And that Pro mode should only be available and unlocked on a PlayStation 5 Pro, what gives you a substantial difference than the base consoles. I'm not like you guys. I'm different. And I don't ever want to breathe the same air that you breathe, you PlayStation peasants. I want my PlayStation 5 Pro experience to be head and shoulders above your PlayStation 5 mega base console experience. How dare you breathe the same air I breathe? Jeffries, please take me home. Now I'm going to give you the difference between two different ways on the way some people spin a story. Now, one is going to tell you Microsoft is also planning thousands of job cuts that will impact other parts of its business, along with, Xbox and stuff like that. And then another one is going to tell you a different story, right? They all pretty much have kind of close to the same sources, and understanding that Bloomberg has announced this like a week ago. Now, I know a lot of times we get into the weeds when it comes to this stuff, because since a lot of people want to become fake stockbrokers and analysts and stuff like that and want to know how much sales consoles have when they don't have any skin in the game. When I'm telling you don't have any skin in the game, you're a consumer, right? When you go to buy a burger over at McDonald's, you're not caring how many employees was laid off or how many stores that they're closing. All you want to do is just get your burger, eat your burger, sit down, shut up, and leave. Actually, you don't even really care what the wrapping is made out of. A lot of you don't even care what's going on inside of it. You just want to get your fix and get out of there. Well, gaming is pretty much the same way. And I'm not telling you, don't care about the people that are actually there making games and doing stuff. What I'm telling you is stop the hypocrisy. There's many different areas in your life where you don't give a damn about anything but consumption. A lot of you are those rude consumers that go to the store and you don't care what the worker is telling you. I just want this, and this wasn't done this way. You're that individual. So you don't really give a damn in other aspects of your life, but this fake concern when it comes to anything that Microsoft is doing, listen, this is industry wide. This is not just isolated towards Microsoft. This is not just isolated towards Xbox. No, there have been layoffs in other companies throughout the whole industry. Actually, on a whole, the industry is down 18% of its normal workforce. And we're looking at a greater gap when it comes to the end of this year. I'm thinking that we're going to probably breach the 25% mark by the end of this year through all the companies globally. This is a different trend, what we're seeing here. With the invention of AI forms the deletion of jobs. But a lot of the conversation is centered around Microsoft and Xbox. And I'm going to show you the other aspect of this. You see how this one is titled? Report Microsoft suffering major layoffs next week. Xbox suffering major layoffs next week. Microsoft declines to comment. Managers within Xbox are expected substantial cuts. That's a different way for you to look at it. It's a different way for you to view it. It's a different way for it to be quantified to you. It's offering a softer touch for somebody that is an Xbox-centric person to go and read this article, right? Whereas you have Master Chief sitting down on a canister with his head down and his hands down, right? So we expect numerous amounts of job cuts as the restructuring going forward with the next generation console. Now, what I expect is you're hearing people talk about that the Xbox consoles won't be offered in other ecosystems, other regions. That's not the truth. What they want you to do is buy direct from a distributor, right? And then you buy from Microsoft and the consoles be shipped out to you. That's been happening lately. That's been happening in a lot of instances to a lot of places. The global strategy when it comes to the Series X and S, I thought was the main faux pas when battling the PlayStation 5, especially when you're launching only weeks apart. So this current console that's coming out next year, that console is going to have more than a 2 to 3 year head start on what eventually may become the PlayStation 6 or may become some type of PlayStation device. Now, I'm not talking about the handheld. I believe from the iteration of the Xbox console that's going to fit under the television, because we do know the Xbox Asus ROG Ally X console comes out, the handheld comes out this year, at looking at a standpoint from $600 to $800, and that's probably in line with what I was trying to explain to people early on. That device itself is something that's intriguing. But I'm talking about the standalone console that's going under the television. I believe 6 to 10 months you will have that PlayStation handheld. It's not going to be as robust or powerful as one may think, but it's going to be a device that is going to be very successful, in my opinion, and it will caused the PlayStation 6 to be delayed, and therefore the name change will happen, and maybe it doesn't come out at all, because by that time Xbox will have such a huge head start and the landscape will change in a manner that isn't befitting the company of PlayStation. Sony probably won't be able to recover. Going into the future, they are ill-equipped to deliver more than one tentpole title a year. So I don't think with that level of output, it will be substantial enough to maintain any type of ownership to the number 2 spot, where Nintendo's the number 1 spot, Microsoft is the number 3 spot when it comes to console sales, and PlayStation is the number 2 spot. But then when you come to finances, then you got to say Microsoft, and you're going to have to say Nintendo, and you're going to have to say Sony's last there. So again, I just wanted to bring this to you because we're going to have layoffs, and then you're going to have people spinning it like, oh, these layoffs is only isolated to Xbox and Microsoft, where that is an absolute farce. And like I know, these ponies are grasping at straws. Hear ye. Run out to the stores right now. Go get your Xbox, Microsoft VR headset from MetaQuest for the low price of $400. Cheaper than when the PlayStation dropped out, right? And the PlayStation joint was just regular straight VR. This is AR VR mix with a little bit of a twist. What you don't need is a cable to link in. This is wireless, B. Allows you to play easily. It allows you to jump in for the free. If you need Game Pass, got it, B. It's in the box. 3 months for them. 3 months. Game Pass. Make it happen. It's right there. Now, let's say you're a college student, right? You got $400 to spend because you got your per diem. So you got your ramen noodles over there, but you don't got a TV, right? And you're not into the social thing right now. You're just trying to focus on school, but you want to get a little bit of gaming in, right? So what you want to do, plus, you can't afford that big screen TV. So you run out and you go get the MetaQuest VR Xbox edition. It's sleek, it's black, it has green highlights. It looks fantastic. Even the controllers have the buttons like an Xbox, right? How much Xbox can you get? What you need, what you want. VR, Xbox got you. Now you can play all those wonderful games there from MetaQuest. That's great. Do that. Have fun. But you also have Game Pass. Don't need a TV, sit down, log in. Use that. You don't even need the console. Make it happen. I highly recommend this device. Me, myself, I'm going to get this device. Why? Because you don't have to think twice when you get 3 months in the box for Game Pass Ultimate. There's nothing better than this. It's the ultimate in service. This is what happens when the $1 trillion company eats a $1 billion company's lunch. One discontinues their headset, and the other bets on the winning horse. Shout out to Xbox and Microsoft for knowing what to do. Don't waste money. Just bet on the right honey. Now, you're going to get a lot of fake stockholders and shareholders telling you how Xbox is doing bad and how they're going out of business and how they're not producing consoles in this region, not knowing anything of the business at all, just literally talking heads that don't get up outside of their room. They sit in their room, they make a video, they read some blogs, and they actually act like they're intelligent when they're not. They don't have any connects. They don't have any insiders. They don't have nobody that they talk to. They do a lot of this, right? A lot of this. And they just want to run it up. Me, myself, I go to these shows. I have working relationships. If you need further proof, I'll show you proof. But at the end of the day, I do have these conversations. I do meet these individuals. And I was going to go to the Death Stranding event, but when I was booking all my events that day, it had popped up at later on in the night. I'm glad I didn't go. But when I went to go book it, it was already sold out. So they had a couple of bookings for it, and they weren't like having the media thing. But they let that stuff leak out anyway. And the people that did tell me what they went there, they told me what they saw. So I was cool with the stuff that I was doing. And that happened in California. But it would have been cool to have further extensions in Kojima Productions to further that relationship from a journalistic and a business standpoint to get a greater understanding of what their vision are. So when we go to Tokyo, we're pretty much going to have a little bit more of a conversation with Kojima Productions. Not saying Kojima himself, talk about Kojima Productions. But Death Stranding 2 drops this week. Haven't even finished Death Stranding 1, haven't really delved deep into it. So I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to get to that because I have other games that I'm getting to. But you got a lot of people thinking that this is a good thing, like Xbox is losing workers. It's a restructuring over regions. It's a restructuring with the game plan on next-gen consoles. Consoles is coming out next year. Right, so you will have a console that's under the television next year. You will have a handheld that's releasing this year. You have a VR that released this year. The momentum that Xbox and Microsoft has going forward is insane. You have an update to the cloud servers that is happening now. So by the time that the new console does come out, you're going to see a new ramped xCloud that, mind you, is still in beta, right? Once that storefront and all that stuff launches, it's crazy. But if you've seen everything like I've seen everything, you get a chance now to have different stuff. And I know you're going to say, what do you mean by stuff, King? And I'm going to tell you, I'm talking about Steam. You see your Steam games popping up inside your library. If you're part of that beta program, which I'm part of that beta program, you get a chance to see the curated list of all the games that you have, right? Now it's going to turn into, how much space do you have? The 4 Tera is on sale right now for $429 at Best Buy. You can add that to your console, and your console turns into a juggernaut, a beast, if you will, a machine that will not be denied, but you have to try all the games that you buy, right? So we're at a point right now where Xbox is doing everything that we said they was going to do. I told you it's going to be a quick ass checkmate. It was going to be so fast and so quick that it will make your head spin. You wouldn't have seen it coming. You couldn't have predicted it. But when I told you certain things was happening and people was like, King, you're capping. And I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, I've understood this part. We've talked about a lot of things. They strategically fortified themselves with the Azure cloud system. And in doing that, they had the AI component to it. That AI component to the cloud service, when they teamed up with OpenAI to have ChatGPT actually boost and move everything to a different paradigm. The paradigm shift was the moment that they realized that they could place Xbox everywhere. Remember, they was going to make their own Keystone device. They changed that into the Amazon Fire Stick, reached millions of homes with the Amazon Fire Stick. Now that happens. Now you say, damn, okay, what else they're going to do? Well, they made partnerships with televisions. Right? You have LG and you have Samsung, the leading televisions in the market. Sony sell television. Well, how come your app isn't in there? How come you're not pushing your services? Because you're dumb. You're dumb, deaf, and blind. And you're arrogant. So Microsoft has the leading competitors in your space doing what you can't do. With Game Hub, with Samsung, and also I think it's Game and Apps or Game and Play on LG. Then you have the streaming services with GeForce now and Amazon on Amazon Prime. Xbox is attacking it in a manner that you've never seen before. Then they have hardware. You thought they was going to make their own hardware, produce it, ship it, stockpile it, and all that. No, they team up with the leading PC handheld in the market, take it, fix it up, put the operating system, and get that to you. The same way they did with the VR. The VR is out right now, $399. Gonna make it happen. The handheld is coming in October. Make it happen. So they're making all these devices, and the thing that's coming up under the TV, that's going to be wholly driven by them. So we're at a point now where software services and hardware are all operating and humming like a well-oiled machine. Well, PlayStation is telling you we can only do one tentpole title a year, while we're worrying and hoping that third-party games sell on our device. That is limited to a small scope and a small ecosystem. where the Xbox ecosystem is so robust and so large that it is inclusive to the point that you guys are even waiting for Xbox games to go to the PlayStation. If the PlayStation is not going to take advantage of the PlayStation 5 Pro, well, why don't you let Xbox do it? Forza Horizon, anyone? Listen, I'm not telling you what's happening. I'm telling you it happened already. It's over. You know when somebody tells you that a stock, by the time you hear it, it's already done? By the time you found out about Bitcoin, it was already out of your reach. It's already out of your reach. You was never viewed as competition because you wasn't competition. Now, I don't need to say hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. I don't need to tell you that. My merch store tells you that. Welcome to the fourth wall where the king destroys all. I'm 98% right. That's in the store. You want to walk around with that? Let that happen. I'm 2% wrong. That's in the store. Go get that. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. That's in the store. You see, where they won't help you and won't facilitate things for you, I will. Now, this is Xbox Frontline News. If you thought I was bending the knee on something that is going around industry-wise, you're smoking. There's absolutely no reason for me to do that. The whole industry is in a downturn. 18% is down. At the end of the year, you might be looking at a 25% deficit. My thing is AI is taking all these jobs. How does the industry recover? When you got Nintendo talking about AI generative stuff could be useful, PlayStation already using it, and we already know Xbox is using it because they showed you Muse. Get it together, people. Y'all thought AI was one thing. It turns out to be something totally different. But I'm going to do like I told you I always do. And I'm going to get back on Doom Eternal on Frontline Gaming Streams where I game every day and we run it up on these bums. You can jump in the Discord. We can have fun. We can game together. But I'm going to do like I always do. And I'm going to do what winners do. Try to play the Game Pass.